Assassin's Creed has used the Switch to bring a ton of the older games to the handheld world. Two collections have currently brought forth 3 Liberation 4 and Rogue, all of which play pretty well. But the most recent collection brought forth the tale of Ezio Auditore, arguably the most popular character and poster assassin of the entire series. This collection I was pretty interested in, and when it finally went on sale, I grabbed it. Well, let me take that back. I did buy it on a half-off sale, but this right here coming back to a certain Battle Royale games item shop is what really gave me that last push. But regardless, let's dive into a collection that gives us not 1, not 2, but 3 Assassin's Creed games to trek through on the go. Here is my review of Assassin's Creed The Ezio Collection for the Nintendo Switch. With story, we have 3 games here: Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations. These are direct sequels to the original Assassin's Creed, showing Desmond Miles in present day fleeing from the corporation that was forcing him into the Animus. He's then taken to a secret base to do assassin training by ironically doing the exact same thing, going back into the Animus machine and reliving the memories of another of his ancestors, the assassin known as Ezio Auditore. Now, there is a modern day story going on here, but really this is the story of Ezio. We see him become an assassin in 2, rebuild the order in Brotherhood, and going all the way to his retirement in Revelations. These are very interesting stories about the war between the Assassin Order and the Holy Templars, and Ezio is a very charismatic and likable protagonist. And I found these games interesting not just because of Ezio, but the historical factor here. You see popular figures like Leonardo da Vinci appear in Assassin's Creed 2, and we get to see locales like the Roman Colosseum. When it comes to gameplay, this is a collection of 3D action adventure games with stealth and combat. As you trek through each one, you'll navigate around sandbox maps, sneak around guards, and perform lots of assassinations. Now, as a collection, we have 3 full games here: Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, as well as all single-player DLC expansions and short films that came out for the 3 games. But like other versions of this collection, the multiplayer modes were not brought back. But onto the games. As you play each one, you go through story levels as the plot plays out. Each one gives you large sandbox cities for you to explore with markers around for story missions. Each game does this a little bit differently, like a much more expanded fast travel system in Brotherhood and overall larger sandboxes in the later games. But you typically will always have a story objective on your map and a myriad of other things you can do, like dungeons, little missions, or simply exploring for collectibles. How you move around here from the perspective of the previous games, Assassin's Creed 1 and Bloodlines for the PlayStation Portable, what you do is something that hasn't changed a whole lot. In Assassin's Creed fashion, this collection has the same stealth, parkour, and combat the series is known for, with you being able to blend in with NPCs to hide from guards as you navigate the city, climbing on virtually anything to use the streets as well as rooftops as your terrain and means of navigation, and the kind of Arkham-style combat with dueling and countering, especially in Brotherhood. These newer games also improved and added a lot to that original formula, with notoriety being lowered by ripping wanted posters around town or bribing NPCs, the ever-evolving combat to be less clunky and more fluid with dodging and countering, and the sheer amount of content with multiple sandbox cities and all the side objectives you do, from simple assassination missions to the puzzle-heavy tombs that give keys to unlock special equipment like Altair's armor in Assassin's Creed 2. And all of this new stuff really helps the fun factor. It was cool to stealth and assassinate in the original games, but having so much more to do and more fluidity to the actual assassinations and set pieces really made these games go from cool to amazingly fun. I absolutely loved the early parts of Revelations where you're being dragged by a horse carriage, and the part of 2 where you get to use the flying machine to glide around the city. But not everything is great. When I reviewed the Rebel Collection, I criticized the hit detection, where if you're running along and brush into a wall, the game will think, oh, you want to climb this wall, let me stop you and make you climb it. As you would expect, being an older game of the franchise than Black Flag and Rogue, that problem is still here. It's really big on directional movement and making sure you're always facing the right direction when you're going through those high-speed chases. Once you get adjusted to the system, it's pretty easy to not make mistakes, but it will take a while to get there. And that's about all I have for gameplay, so let's talk about content and length. Each of these games is pretty long. I was a good 25 hours into this collection only playing Assassin's Creed 2. Throwing the DLC in both other games, and you've got dozens of hours of content to trek through, making this the beefiest Assassin's Creed collection on the Switch. Next up is presentation, which is quite good. There's a lot of detail and smoothness to how all three of these games look, very few jagged edges to be seen, and very little difference between docked and handheld mode. Now, it is worth noting that there was talk early on at launch with some weirdness with the presentation and effects and revelations, but this has already been patched. And that optimization goes double for performance, with these games all giving you a nice and solid 30 FPS from start to finish. I never noticed any drops under 30, so it's great with looks and gameplay. That's all I've got for that, so let's go into battery life. On the original model, the Ezio collection gives you a battery range of 2 to 3.5 hours. The Lite gives us 2.5 to 4 hours. The Redboxer V2 2019 model gets us 4 to 5 hours, and the OLED gets us 4.5 to 5.5. In conclusion, the Ezio collection brings 3 more Assassin's Creed games to the Switch and in top form. Now on the downside, the hit detection and some other systems do still have a bit of clunk, especially in Assassin's Creed 2. But if you can learn your way past it, these are very good action stealth games that bring the rest of the first core and sequential arc of the franchise complete with the Switch and on the go. Reviews to Go rates Assassin's Creed the Ezio collection for the Nintendo Switch an 8 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.